the broken vow, the perfect life that wasn't. Elena stood before the tall mirror in her childhood bedroom, watching the sunset paint golden streaks across the ocean outside. Tomorrow she would become Mrs. Marcus Blackwell. Tomorrow her life would change forever. She just didn't know how right she was about that. The white dress hanging on her closet door seemed to glow in the fading light. It was perfect, just like everything else about her wedding. Just like Marcus himself appeared to be. Handsome, successful, charming. The man who had swept into her life 2 years ago and changed everything. Elena touched the silver locket around her neck. Inside was a tiny photo of her late mother, the woman who had taught her everything about art and beauty. "I wish you were here, Mom," she whispered to the empty room. "You would have loved him. The night before forever." Her phone buzzed. A text from Marcus. "Missing you already. Can't wait to see you at the altar. Love you." Elena smiled, but something felt off. Marcus had been distant lately, always on his phone, always in meetings. She told herself it was just wedding stress. Rich businessmen had busy lives. She decided to surprise him. Their house was only 20 minutes away. She would bring him his favorite wine and they could talk, really talk, before the big day. Breaking tradition didn't matter. What mattered was starting their marriage right. The drive felt longer than usual. Dark clouds gathered over the ocean, and the first drops of rain hit her windshield as she pulled into the driveway. Marcus's car was there, along with another vehicle she didn't recognize. Probably a business associate. The truth in the shadows. Elena used her key to enter through the side door. The house was quiet except for voices coming from Marcus's study. She was about to call out when she heard her own name. Elena's family gallery has access to the Westmore collection next month. That was Marcus's voice, cold and businesslike. Nothing like the warm tone he used with her. "Once we're married, I'll have full access to her accounts and connections." Elena froze in the hallway, her heart starting to pound. Another voice, rough and unfamiliar. "And she has no idea about the forgeries?" Marcus laughed. It was a cruel sound that Elena had never heard before.
"Elena?"
"She's so trusting it's almost sad. She actually believes I love her. The woman paints pretty pictures and thinks that makes her special. She has no idea how the real art world works." The wine bottle slipped from Elena's hand. It hit the carpet with a dull thump but didn't break. Still, the sound was enough. "What was that?" the other voice asked. Elena's body finally responded. She ran. Out the side door, into the rain, into her car. Her hands shook so badly she could barely start the engine. Behind her, she saw Marcus appear in the doorway, his face a mask of surprise. The unraveling. She drove without thinking, ending up at the beach where Marcus had proposed. The rain poured down, mixing with her tears. Everything had been a lie. Every kiss, every promise, every moment of the last 2 years. He had never loved her. He had used her connections, her family's reputation in the art world, her trust. And tomorrow she was supposed to marry him. Elena sat in her car for hours, watching the storm rage over the ocean. Her phone wouldn't stop ringing. Marcus calling again and again. Finally, she answered. "Elena, where are you? Are you okay?" His voice was full of fake concern. "I heard you, Marcus. I heard everything." Silence. Then his voice changed, dropping the pretense entirely. "So you know. Well, that complicates things." "Complicates?" Elena's voice rose. "You were using me. You were planning to steal from my family." "Steal is such an ugly word, Elena. I prefer to think of it as business. And honestly, you should be flattered. Your family's gallery is one of the best covers in the city. Your mother built quite a reputation before she died." The mention of her mother made Elena's blood run cold. "Don't you dare talk about her. The wedding is still on, by the way," Marcus continued, his voice hard now. "You'll show up, you'll smile, and you'll marry me. Because if you don't, I'll make sure everyone knows your precious gallery has been selling forgeries for years. I have evidence all pointing to you and your father. Your family's reputation will be destroyed." "You're lying." "Am I? Try me, Elena." Call off this wedding and watch your father's life work burn. It's your choice. He hung up. The stranger's offer. Elena sat frozen, the phone dead in her hand. He had her trapped. If she exposed him, he would destroy her family. If she married him, he would have legal access to everything and eventually destroy them anyway. She was still sitting there at midnight when someone knocked on her car window. Elena jumped, her heart racing. A man stood in the rain, tall and dark-haired, holding an umbrella. She cracked the window. "Who are you?" "Someone who hates Marcus Blackwell as much as you do right now." His voice was deep and calm. "My name is Damian Cross, and I think we need to talk. An alliance in darkness." Damian took her to an all-night cafe, warm and bright against the storm outside. Elena sat across from him, studying his face. He was handsome in a different way than Marcus. Where Marcus was polished and perfect, Damian had rough edges, a scar above his left eyebrow, eyes that had seen pain. "How did you know?" Elena asked. "How did you know I would be there?" "I've been watching Marcus for 6 months, Damian said, stirring his coffee. "I knew about your wedding. I knew he was using you. I was there tonight in the car you didn't recognize. I work for his business partner sometimes. That's how I know what Marcus really does. The forgeries. That's just the beginning. Marcus runs an entire network of art theft and fraud. He finds people like you, people with connections and trust, and he uses them until there's nothing left." Elena felt sick. "Why are you telling me this?" Damian's jaw tightened. "Because 3 years ago he did the same thing to my sister. She was an art curator in New York. He seduced her, used her access to switch real paintings with fakes, and when she discovered the truth, he framed her. She went to prison for his crimes. She hung herself 6 months into her sentence." The pain in his eyes was real and deep. Elena reached across the table and touched his hand. "I'm so sorry. I've been trying to bring him down ever since," Damian continued. "But he's smart. He covers his tracks. Every time I get close, he slips away. But now he's made a mistake. He's underestimated you. He threatened my family. He has evidence planted against us." "I know, but I have evidence too. Real evidence of his crimes. The problem is I can't use it. Not yet. He has too many powerful friends. Judges he's paid off. Lawyers who will bury anything I bring forward. I need more than evidence. I need him to confess in a way he can't deny." Elena's mind was racing. "What are you suggesting?" "The plan." Damian leaned forward. "Marry him." "What?" "Hear me out. If you cancel the wedding now, he'll destroy your family and disappear before I can stop him. But if you go through with it, if you pretend you don't know anything, you'll have access to everything. His computers, his files, his business meetings. And I'll be right there helping you. You want me to spy on my own husband. I want you to help me destroy the man who killed my sister and planned to ruin your life. He thinks he's won, Elena. Let him think that. And while he's celebrating, we'll take everything from him, piece by piece." Elena looked out the window at the storm. Her phone was full of messages now. Her father, asking if she was okay. Her bridesmaids, excited for tomorrow. Marcus, his last text reading, "See you at the altar. Remember what I said." She thought about her mother, about the gallery her parents had built from nothing, about Damian's sister who had died alone in a prison cell. She thought about every lie Marcus had told her, every kiss that meant nothing, every moment of false love. The vow. "What do I have to do?" Elena asked. Damian pulled out a small device no bigger than a button. "First, you wear this. It's a camera and microphone. Hidden cameras aren't legal for most things, but I need to see what he's doing. Second, you act normal. You're the loving bride who suspects nothing. You smile at his business associates, you play the perfect wife. And third, you trust me. This is going to be dangerous, Elena. If Marcus finds out what we're doing, I don't know what he'll do. He already threatened my family. How much worse can it get?" "Much worse," Damian said quietly. "Are you sure you want to do this?" Elena picked up the tiny camera. It was so small, so innocent looking. just like she had been before tonight. She thought about walking away, calling the police, hiding. But Marcus would win if she did that. He always won. Not this time. "I'll do it," Elena said. "I'll marry him tomorrow. I'll smile and say my vows and let him think he's fooled me. And then, together, we're going to take everything from him." Damien's smile was grim. "Welcome to the war, Elena." The wedding morning. The rain had stopped by morning, leaving the world washed clean and bright. Elena stood in the same spot before the same mirror, but everything was different now. The white dress no longer looked innocent. It looked like armor. Her father knocked on the door.
Elena?
"It's almost time." She pinned the tiny camera to the inside of her bouquet, hidden among the white roses. Her hands were steady now. The fear had burned away, leaving only cold determination. "I'm ready, Dad." The church was packed with guests. Marcus's business associates, her father's art world connections, friends from college. All of them smiling, celebrating, completely unaware of the truth. Marcus stood at the altar, handsome in his tuxedo, his smile perfect. He saw her and his eyes lit up with triumph. He thought he'd won. He thought she was his. Elena walked down the aisle, her arm through her father's. In the back row, almost invisible, sat Damien. He gave her the smallest nod. The game had begun. The ceremony. The priest began speaking. Elena barely heard him. She watched Marcus, studying his face the way she used to study a painting before deciding how to capture it. She saw the greed in his eyes, the calculation. How had she missed it before? "Do you, Marcus Blackwell, take this woman to be your lawfully wedded wife?"
Ido.
His voice was smooth as silk. "And do you, Elena Sofia Martinez, take this man to be your lawfully wedded husband?" This was it. The moment. She could still run. She could expose him right here, right now. But then he would destroy her family, and Damien would lose his only chance at justice. Elena looked at Marcus and smiled sweetly.
Ido.
The lie tasted like ashes in her mouth. "I now pronounce you husband and wife." Marcus pulled her close and kissed her. Felt like kissing a snake. Elena forced herself to kiss him back, to smile as the guests applauded, to walk back down the aisle as his wife. As they passed Damien's row, Elena caught his eye. He touched his ear, indicating the signal was clear. Every word, every moment was being recorded now. The reception. The reception was held at her family's gallery, surrounded by priceless art. Marcus moved through the crowd like he owned the place. In his mind, he probably did. Elena played her part perfectly. The blushing bride, hanging on her husband's arm, laughing at his jokes. But she listened to every conversation, noted every name he mentioned, every meeting he scheduled. Damien was there too, disguised as a waiter. He refilled glasses and cleared plates, invisible to the wealthy guests. But Elena saw him watching, recording, gathering evidence. "Mrs. Blackwell," Marcus whispered in her ear during their first dance. "I have to admit, I'm impressed. I thought you might do something stupid." "Why would I?" Elena kept her voice light. "I love you. Of course you do." He spun her around. "Tomorrow we'll start the paperwork for the joint accounts. By next week, I'll have access to the Westmore collection. Everything is falling into place. Whatever you think is best, darling." Marcus smiled. He had no idea he was dancing with his own destruction. The first night, that night, in Marcus's house that was now legally hers too, Elena lay awake beside her new husband. He was asleep, satisfied, believing his plan was perfect. Her phone vibrated silently. A text from an unknown number. "You did well today. Meet me tomorrow at the old pier, 2 p.m. We start the real work then." Elena deleted the message and stared at the ceiling. She had married the man who planned to destroy her family. She had promised to love, honor, and cherish someone she now hated with every fiber of her being. But it was worth it. It had to be worth it. Because by the time she was done, Marcus Blackwell would lose everything he'd stolen. His money, his reputation, his freedom. She would make sure of it. Elena touched her mother's locket. I'm going to protect our family, Mom, she whispered into the darkness. No matter what it costs. Outside, storm clouds gathered again over the ocean. The war had just begun. The game of shadows. The double life begins. Elena woke up to sunlight streaming through unfamiliar windows. For a moment, she forgot where she was. Then she felt Marcus's arm around her waist and reality crashed back. She was Mrs. Blackwell now, the wife of a criminal, the woman playing the most dangerous game of her life. Marcus stirred beside her. Good morning, wife. His voice was warm, but Elena heard the possessiveness in it. She was his property now, or so he thought. Good morning, she replied, forcing a smile. What time is your meeting? Eager to get rid of me already? He laughed, kissing her neck. Elena's skin crawled, but she didn't pull away. I have to meet Vincent at 11. Gallery business. Boring stuff.
Vincent Russo.
Elena filed the name away. Damien would want to know. I thought I'd spend the day organizing my art supplies, Elena said. Maybe set up a studio in the spare room? Whatever makes you happy, darling. Just remember we have dinner with the Harringtons tonight. Dress nicely. Charles Harrington is a very important client. Another name, another piece of the puzzle. The pier meeting. At exactly 2 p.m., Elena stood at the old pier. The wooden boards were weathered and gray, and the ocean stretched endlessly before her. She wore sunglasses and a baseball cap, feeling ridiculous and exposed at the same time. You're good at following directions. Damien's voice came from behind her. He leaned against a rusted railing, looking casual in jeans and a dark jacket. How was the first night as Mrs. Blackwell? Like sleeping next to a snake.
Elena Schudered.
He mentioned 2 names this morning, Vincent Russo and Charles Harrington. Damien's expression darkened. Vincent is Marcus's main contact for moving stolen pieces. Charles Harrington is a collector who doesn't ask questions about where his art comes from. Good catches. What do I do now? Now you become my eyes and ears inside his world. Damien handed her a small envelope. Inside is a USB drive. It looks like a regular flash drive, but it copies everything from any computer you plug it into. His passwords, his files, everything. Can you access his computer? Elena thought about Marcus's home office, the one he kept locked. He doesn't let me in there. Then we need to get you in. Does he have any habits? Times when he's always out. Thursday afternoons. He has a standing golf game with his business partners. He's gone from 1 to 5 every week. Perfect. This Thursday you'll get into that office. But Elena, Damien's voice became serious. Be careful. If he catches you, I don't know what he'll do. He won't catch me. The sisters' story. They walked along the beach, maintaining distance like strangers who happened to be walking the same way. But Damien was talking, and Elena was listening. Her name was Sarah, he said quietly. My little sister. She was brilliant, Elena. She graduated top of her class, got a job at the Metropolitan Museum of Art in New York. She was only 26 when she met Marcus. Elena watched his profile. Pain etched every line of his face. He told her the same lies he told you, that he loved her, that she was special. He took her to expensive dinners, bought her gifts, made her feel like a princess. And then, slowly, he started asking favors. Could she give him private tours after hours? Could she help authenticate a piece for a client? Small things at first. When did it change? 6 months in. That's when she discovered paintings were being swapped. Real masterpieces replaced with forgeries so perfect that most people couldn't tell the difference. She confronted Marcus, and he turned everything on her. Suddenly, security footage appeared showing her accessing the storage vaults at odd hours. Suddenly, there were emails from her computer arranging the sales of stolen pieces. Damien's hands clenched into fists. He framed her perfectly. She was arrested, tried, convicted. Our parents spent everything trying to prove her innocence, but Marcus had covered every track. Sarah went to prison, and his voice broke. I believed the evidence. I thought my own sister had betrayed her oath, her profession, everything she loved. I didn't visit her. I was so angry. Damien. She left a note before she died, finally explaining everything, begging me to believe her, to forgive her. By the time I got it, she was already gone. He turned to Elena, his eyes wet. I failed her. But I won't fail you. We're going to stop him. Elena reached out and squeezed his hand. We will. For Sarah. The dinner party. That evening, Elena wore a blue silk dress that Marcus had bought her. She looked like the perfect society wife, elegant and quiet. The Harrington mansion was even more impressive than Marcus's house, filled with art that made Elena's trained eye widen. Mrs. Blackwell, how lovely. Charles Harrington was a silver-haired man with cold eyes. Marcus tells me you come from an art family. My parents own Martinez Gallery, Elena said, playing her role. We specialize in 19th-century European works. Fascinating. Perhaps you could help me authenticate a piece I recently acquired. Elena's pulse quickened. This was it. A chance to see what they were dealing with. I'd be happy to. Harrington led her to his private gallery. The painting on the wall made Elena's breath catch. It was a Monet, or at least it was supposed to be. But something was wrong. The brushstrokes were slightly off, the colors just a shade too vibrant. It's beautiful, Elena lied smoothly. Where did you acquire it? Through Marcus, actually. Private estate sale. Very hush-hush. Harrington watched her carefully. You don't see any problems with it? This was a test. Elena knew it instantly. It's exquisite. The Water Lilies series is my favorite of Monet's work. Harrington smiled. Good. I'm glad to hear a professional opinion. But as they walked back to dinner, Elena's mind raced. That painting was a forgery, probably worth millions, and Harrington knew it. They were all in on it together. The question was, how many more were there? The office break-in. Thursday afternoon arrived like a death sentence. Elena watched Marcus leave for his golf game, her heart pounding so hard she thought it might break through her chest. She had 3 hours, maybe 4 if the game ran long. Marcus's office door was locked with a keypad. Elena had watched him enter the code dozens of times, always from an angle. 7-3-1-9-8. His sister's birthday he'd mentioned once. The man had no imagination. The office was exactly as cold and impersonal as Marcus himself. Modern furniture, gray walls, a massive desk with 3 computer monitors. Elena pulled out the USB drive with shaking hands. The computer required a password. Elena tried his birthday. Wrong. Their anniversary. Wrong. She had one more try before it locked her out. She closed her eyes and thought. What did Marcus care about? What was his real love? Money. She typed. Blackwell 1%. The screen unlocked. Oh, you arrogant bastard, Elena whispered. She plugged in the USB drive and watched the progress bar crawl across the screen. 60 seconds. 90. She couldn't breathe. A car door slammed outside. Elena's heart stopped. She ran to the window. Marcus's car was in the driveway. He was home early. The USB drive was only at 70%. The front door opened downstairs. 80%.
Elena?
Are you home? Marcus's voice called out. 90%. Footsteps on the stairs. 95%. The office door handle turned. Locked. Thank God. 100%. Elena ripped out the drive, shut down the computer, and dove for the closet just as she heard the keypad beeping. Hidden in shadows. Elena crouched in the darkness of Marcus's closet, between expensive suits and the smell of his cologne. The door opened. She could see through the slats as Marcus entered, his phone to his ear. I don't care what Vincent says. The Westmore collection is the biggest score we've ever planned. I'm not backing out now. He paused, listening. Yes, I'm sure about Elena. She's completely fooled. The woman actually thinks I love her. His laugh was cruel and familiar. Elena pressed her hand over her mouth to keep from making a sound. Her father's gallery will give us access to at least 20 major pieces. Once we make the switches, we'll be looking at 70, maybe 80 million in profit. Another pause. Yes, I know about the Damien Cross problem. I'm handling it. Elena's blood went cold. They knew about Damien. Cross has been sniffing around for 3 years. He's never gotten close before, and he won't now. Besides, if he does become a real threat, Marcus's voice became deadly. Well, accidents happen, just like they happened to his sister. Elena's hand clenched the USB drive so tight it bit into her palm. Sarah hadn't killed herself. They had murdered her. Marcus ended the call and sat at his computer.
Elena barelajbreted.
If he noticed it had been used, if he checked the logs, she was dead. But Marcus just typed for a few minutes, then left, locking the door behind him. Elena waited 10 minutes that felt like 10 hours before emerging from the closet. Her legs were cramped and her body was drenched in sweat, but she had the drive. She had the evidence. She just had to survive long enough to use it. Emergency contact. Elena couldn't wait until the next planned meeting. She texted Damien from a burner phone he'd given her. Emergency. He knows about you. Need to meet now. The response came in seconds. Coffee shop on Main Street. 20 minutes. Be careful. Elena told Marcus she was going to the grocery store. She drove with her hands white-knuckled on the wheel, checking the rearview mirror constantly for anyone following her. The coffee shop was crowded and anonymous. Damien sat in the back corner, his face tense when he saw her expression. What happened? Elena slid the USB drive across the table. I got everything from his computer. But Damien, they know you're investigating. And Sarah, she didn't kill herself. They murdered her. Damien's face went pale, then red with fury. What? Elena told him everything she'd heard. By the end, Damien's hands were shaking. I'm going to kill him, he said quietly.
No.
Elena grabbed his wrist. That's what he wants. If you attack him directly, he wins. We have to be smart about this. We have to use what we found. Damien took a deep breath, then another. Slowly, the rage transformed into cold determination. You're right. Show me what's on the drive. The evidence mounts. They spent 2 hours in Damien's car, parked in a lot behind the coffee shop, going through the files. What they found was worse than either of them had imagined. Marcus's operation was huge. Over 5 years, he had stolen or forged over 200 pieces of art, worth more than $300 million total. He had a network of corrupt curators, complicit collectors, and paid-off customs officials. Names, dates, photographs, bank records. It was all there. This is enough, Elena breathed. This is enough to put him away for life. Not yet. Damien's jaw was tight. Look at this list of names. 3 judges, 2 state senators, the deputy police commissioner. Marcus has been paying them off for years. If we go to the regular police, these people will make the evidence disappear. We need federal authorities, maybe even the FBI. How long will that take? A few weeks to make contact with the right people, verify the evidence, build a case they can't ignore. Can you hold on that long? Elena thought about sleeping next to Marcus every night, pretending to love him, playing the devoted wife. I don't have a choice. If it gets too dangerous, you get out. Promise me. I promise. But Elena knew it was a lie. She wasn't leaving until Marcus was destroyed. The growing bond. As they sat in the car, the sun setting outside, something shifted between them. Damien looked at her, really looked at her, and Elena felt a spark of something she hadn't felt in years. Something real. You're incredibly brave, Damien said quietly. Sarah would have liked you. I wish I could have known her. She was a lot like you. Stubborn, passionate about art, too trusting for her own good. His voice softened. I won't let Marcus do to you what he did to her. We're partners in this, Elena reminded him. You're not protecting me. We're protecting each other. Damien smiled, a real smile that transformed his face. Partners. Their hands touched on the gear shift. Neither of them pulled away. Elena felt her heart beating faster, but this time it wasn't from fear. It was something else entirely. Something dangerous in a completely different way. I should go, she said, but she didn't move.
Elena.
Damien's voice was rough with emotion. Don't. She pulled her hand back. We can't. Not while I'm still married to him. Not while we're in the middle of this. I know. But after. After, Elena agreed. The promise hung between them, fragile and powerful. The Harrington problem. The next morning, Charles Harrington called Marcus. Elena was close enough to hear both sides of the conversation on speakerphone. We have a problem, Harrington said. The Westmore collection has increased security. They're bringing in outside authentication experts for the exhibition. Marcus's face tightened. Who? Dr. Patricia Chun from the Louvre. She's one of the best in the world. She'll spot our forgeries in seconds. Then we move up the timeline. We make the switch before the exhibition, before Chun arrives. That's in 3 days, Marcus. Then we work fast. I'll get Elena to pull the security schedules from her father's gallery. They're coordinating with Westmore for the exhibition. We'll have everything we need. After Harrington hung up, Marcus turned to Elena with his most charming smile. Darling, I need a favor. The trap tightens. Elena knew this was it. The moment of truth. Marcus needed her to betray her own father, to give him the information that would let him steal millions in artwork and destroy the gallery her family had built. Of course, she said sweetly. Anything for you. I need the security schedules for the Westmore exhibition. Your father must have them. He does, but Marcus, those are confidential. Dad would kill me if I...
Elena.
His voice became cold. We've talked about this. You're my wife now. Your loyalty is to me first. Besides, I'm just trying to coordinate security for some of my clients who will be attending. It's perfectly innocent. It was a threat wrapped in a lie. Elena saw the steel in his eyes. If she refused, he would know something was wrong. I'll get them, she agreed. But it might take a few days. You have until tomorrow night. The Westmore collection is only in the country for 1 week. We can't miss this opportunity. That evening, Elena met with Damien in an abandoned parking garage. He's moving up the timeline. 3 days from now, he's going to rob the Westmore collection. That's too soon. We don't have the federal authorities lined up yet. Then we don't have a choice. We have to stop the robbery ourselves and catch him in the act. Elena, that's incredibly dangerous. Everything about this is dangerous. Her voice echoed in the concrete space. But if we let him steal the Westmore collection, he'll have enough money to disappear forever. We'll never get another chance. Damien paced, thinking. Okay, here's what we do. You give him fake security schedules. We set up our own surveillance at the real entry points. When he and his team show up, we document everything. Then we call the police, the real police, not his corrupt friends. We make sure there are so many witnesses that even his paid judges can't save him. What about my father's gallery? Marcus will use it as his base. We warn your father. Everything. Tonight. Confessions. Elena's father, Roberto Martinez, listened to his daughter's story in stunned silence. They sat in his study above the gallery, surrounded by the art he loved. Mi hija, he finally said, his voice breaking. Why didn't you tell me? He threatened you. He threatened everything you and Mom built. I couldn't let him destroy you. So you were willing to be destroyed yourself? Roberto grabbed her hands. Elena, you are worth more than 1,000 galleries. You should have come to me. I'm coming to you now, Papa. I need your help. Her father's face hardened with determination. Tell me what to do. They spent the next 2 hours planning. Roberto would give Marcus access to the gallery, but on their terms. Every room would have hidden cameras. Every movement would be tracked. And when Marcus came to steal the Westmore collection, he would walk into a trap. Damien joined them, and Elena watched her father size up the stranger who had been helping his daughter. You loved your sister very much, Roberto said. It wasn't a question. More than anything. Then we will get justice for her, and for my daughter, and for everyone Marcus Blackwell has destroyed. The final pieces. The next 48 hours were a blur of preparation. Elena gave Marcus the fake security schedules, watching as his eyes gleamed with greed. She played the helpful wife, even offering to help coordinate with her father. "You're perfect," Marcus told her, kissing her forehead. "I knew marrying you was the right move." Every word was a knife in her heart, but Elena smiled and agreed. Meanwhile, Damien was setting up surveillance equipment throughout the gallery. Roberto called in favors from trusted friends in law enforcement, people he knew weren't on Marcus's payroll. Everything was coming together. On Wednesday evening, Marcus left for a business dinner. Elena followed him at a distance, her heart pounding. He drove to an industrial warehouse on the outskirts of town. Through the windows, she could see him meeting with 5 other men. They were looking at maps, going over the plan. Vincent Russo was there, Charles Harrington, others she didn't recognize. Elena took photos of everything, her hands steady despite her fear. This was it. The conspiracy laid bare. A hand touched her shoulder and she nearly screamed. But it was Damien, his eyes fierce. "Tomorrow night," he whispered. "This ends tomorrow night." The threat. That night, Marcus came home late, smelling of whiskey and triumph. He grabbed Elena and kissed her roughly, possessively.